Consistency compounds. It is the quiet engine of transformation, the subtle but unstoppable force behind every meaningful achievement. When most people imagine success, they picture a single defining moment, a dramatic breakthrough, an overnight victory, a sudden leap to greatness. Yet if you look beneath the surface of real accomplishments, you find something far less glamorous but infinitely more powerful: small, steady actions repeated over time until their impact becomes extraordinary. Think about the way water shapes stone. A single drop does nothing. But thousands of drops, falling day after day, carve valleys and smooth the hardest rock. This is the essence of compounding, the gradual accumulation of effort that seems almost invisible at first but eventually reshapes everything it touches. Consistency works like that drop of water. Each time you take a small step forward, even one so small it feels insignificant, you're leaving a mark. At first, the change is too subtle to see. But the hidden momentum builds, and over months or years the difference is undeniable. Consider the process of saving money. If you place a modest sum into an account once, you barely notice a change. But if you add to it regularly, month after month, and allow interest to accumulate, the growth accelerates. The later gains are not only from your deposits but also from the interest those deposits have already earned. This is the mathematical definition of compounding, and it mirrors the way personal growth works. Each habit, each decision, each act of discipline builds on the one before it, creating a chain reaction of improvement. The same principle applies to learning. Reading a few pages of a book today might feel trivial, as if it cannot possibly expand your knowledge in a meaningful way. But 10 pages a day over a year is more than 3,000 pages, enough to master ideas that once felt out of reach. Practice a skill for just 15 minutes each evening and, before long, you will have invested hundreds of hours. These small sessions do more than simply add up, they interact. Every new bit of understanding makes the next lesson easier, every practice session refines the last. The result is not linear growth but exponential progress. Consistency also builds trust in yourself. Each time you keep a promise to show up, whether it's to exercise, to study, to write, or simply to be present, you reinforce the belief that you are dependable. That inner trust is like an anchor in a world full of distractions and quick fixes. When you know you can rely on your own discipline, you approach challenges with calm confidence. This self-reliance is not built in a day, it is earned in the quiet, repetitive actions that no one else may notice. Another strength of consistency is its ability to outlast motivation. Motivation is like a spark, it can ignite action, but it is not designed to burn forever. Discipline, however, is like a steady flame that continues even when the spark has faded. Consistency thrives when excitement wanes. It allows you to keep moving when the results are not yet visible, when the novelty has worn off, when the path feels dull. And it is in those moments, when others quit, that your steady effort begins to separate you from the crowd. You will not be perfect. Some days you will falter, miss a practice, or feel too tired to give your best. But consistency is not about flawless streaks, it is about returning. The power of compounding does not vanish because of a single missed day, it remains as long as you resume the work. The key is to see each return as part of the process, not a setback. Every recommitment strengthens the habit and proves that persistence matters more than perfection. Over time, something even deeper happens: consistency reshapes your identity. The small daily actions stop being things you merely do and start becoming expressions of who you are. You no longer have to force yourself to act, the behavior is woven into your character. You become, naturally and almost without noticing, the kind of person who learns, who grows, who improves. That is why consistency compounds. It not only produces external achievements but also transforms you from the inside out, turning ordinary effort into lasting excellence. Intentional learning is the practice of approaching growth with purpose, clarity, and focus. It is the difference between wandering through experiences and deliberately extracting lessons from them. Many people assume that simply living or working automatically leads to wisdom, but experience alone is not the teacher, reflection and intention are. Without an active effort to learn, days can pass without any real progress. Intentional learning transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for development, making every day a classroom and every challenge a lesson. At its core, intentional learning begins with curiosity. It is the willingness to ask questions, to wonder how something works, and to explore beyond the surface. Curiosity fuels engagement. When you approach your environment with genuine interest, you naturally begin to notice patterns, connections, and possibilities that others overlook. This mindset shifts learning from a chore to an adventure. Instead of passively absorbing information, you actively seek understanding. That single shift, from being a receiver of knowledge to a seeker of it, creates a lifelong habit of growth. Learn with intention. You must also define what you are trying to improve. Growth without direction is like sailing without a compass. You might move, but you rarely arrive anywhere meaningful. Begin by identifying specific areas of skill or knowledge that matter to your goals. Maybe you want to strengthen your communication, master a technical ability, or deepen your understanding of a particular subject. By setting clear objectives, you give your mind a target. Goals focus your attention, and focused attention is where real learning happens. Once your goals are defined, break them into small, manageable steps. Too often, people are overwhelmed by the size of the mountain they want to climb. Intentional learners know that every mountain is scaled one step at a time. If you aim to improve your writing, start with a daily practice of a few paragraphs. If you want to understand a complex subject, commit to reading or studying for short, consistent periods. These small, steady actions not only build competence but also create confidence. Progress becomes measurable and motivating, which in turn encourages you to continue. Reflection is another key element of intentional learning. Experience without reflection is like reading a book without ever pausing to think about the meaning. Each day presents lessons, successes to be celebrated, mistakes to be examined, patterns to be recognized. Taking time to ask yourself, what did I learn today, or what could I do differently next time, transforms daily events into lasting insights. Reflection solidifies understanding and allows you to refine your approach. It ensures that you are not simply moving through time but growing through it. Feedback accelerates this process. Intentional learners welcome feedback not as criticism but as guidance. Seeking constructive input from mentors, peers, or even from the outcomes of your own actions provides information you cannot gain alone. Feedback highlights blind spots, challenges assumptions, and helps you adjust more quickly than trial and error alone. It requires humility, the recognition that improvement is always possible, but it is one of the fastest ways to deepen understanding and skill. Equally important is the practice of applying what you learn. Knowledge that remains theoretical soon fades, but knowledge put into action becomes wisdom. Whether you are developing a new skill or exploring an idea, look for opportunities to test it in real-life situations. Application transforms information into ability and reinforces the habit of learning by doing. This cycle, learn, apply, reflect, creates momentum that drives continual growth. Intentional learning also demands patience. True mastery does not arrive in a burst of inspiration, it unfolds gradually. There will be moments of frustration, periods where progress feels slow, and times when the effort seems to outweigh the reward. In those moments, patience and persistence are your allies. Remind yourself that learning is not about instant results but about steady, compounding improvement. Each deliberate step you take adds to a foundation that, over time, becomes unshakable. Ultimately, intentional learning is more than acquiring skills or knowledge, it is about shaping the person you become. Every day offers countless chances to refine your character, expand your perspective, and strengthen your mind. When you approach life with a deliberate plan to learn through reading, practice, reflection, and feedback, you transform ordinary experiences into extraordinary growth. It is this conscious effort, repeated over days and years, that turns potential into achievement and ensures that each day leaves you wiser than the last. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to a close, remember that true growth is never the result of sudden miracles or dramatic leaps. It is the quiet accumulation of deliberate choices, showing up with consistency, and learning with intention. Each small action, each lesson embraced, is a brick laid in the foundation of your future. You do not need to wait for the perfect moment or the ideal circumstances. The power to transform your life is already in your daily reach, hidden inside the decisions you make today, tomorrow, and every day after. So step forward with purpose. Water the seeds of progress with steady effort and conscious learning. Let each sunrise find you just a little wiser, a little stronger, a little better than the day before. Because when you choose to grow intentionally, patiently, and consistently, you are not just improving what you do. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be.